So I think Bryn Mawr is a really unique experience, and that it's a condensed program and so much happens in 1 year. And when there's so much packed into 1 year, you're learning all of the undergraduate pre-medical coursework, there can be some really difficult times. And you're gonna wanna know, if you're going into this program, that there are the support networks to help you when you might feel a little bit overwhelmed. I think one example that helped provide me with really useful perspective on a day-to-day basis is the Old Back mentoring program. My old back was wonderful. She provided me with really great insights for how to tackle work on a day-to-day basis, whether it was how much time I need to spend on the lab report, or just what level of detail I might need to write up for a problem set for biology. She also provided me with really insightful perspective on where each piece of the puzzle on a day-to-day basis fit in. And so when I could see an assignment, see a project, see content on a test, I knew where it fit in the broader journey of my path to medical school. I knew what this content meant. I knew where it fitted in my broader conceptual base. And I knew whether I'd see it again on the MCAT or not, or whether it would be instrumental in helping me understand content in the spring, or even in my first year in medical school with the physiology content we covered in biology. So the Old Back Mentoring Program was a really great resource, and I hope to contribute to next year's cohort as an Old Back mentor myself. Outside of the Old Back Mentoring Program, I think that the program's culture of collaboration really made periods of high work volume much more manageable. When you're learning that much material that quickly, you can stare at a textbook all you want, but sometimes ideas just will not get into your head. And there's something really special about being in such a beautiful building and being able to go to the whiteboard with your classmates and talk out ideas. After you spent enough time on your own to get a great understanding, you can strive for a much higher synthesis and higher level of perspective by working things out with your classmates, seeing connections between problems and problem sets, connecting content from organic chemistry and biochemistry to see underlying themes that can overall help you perform better across both classes. And in these sessions, classmates were really supportive. Like, you could slip in a comment saying, I'm sorry, I'm really tired, I might not be with it today. And your classmates would support you. They'd offer you to go for a walk with you outside. They'd offer to go get some coffee with you afterwards. After a bio test, maybe you go to a diner with your friends. I think that there are a lot of support networks that get built organically throughout the post-bac program that made the small moments in the year really special for me and made me really grateful that I was a part of the program. There have been a lot of instances over the past year where I've reached out to professors for one-on-one mentorship, and all of them responded wonderfully. So all of my teachers have done this in some way. But I think one of the most impactful experiences was with Dr. Wien in the fall. I think, especially coming from a quantitative background, learning biology was definitely outside my skill set. And it didn't come as naturally as problem solving did in physics, or organic chemistry, or biochemistry did. And so I met with her several times one-on-one throughout the semester. After a few months of studying really hard, trying a bunch of strategies, I tried doing the textbook problems, I tried reading the textbook, I tried making handwritten flashcards, but it just didn't seem to be quite clicking for me the way it should be. At the end of semester lunch, Dr. Wien came. And so when I went up to Dr. Wien, I said, Dr. Wien, I think I haven't had as much exposure to biology before. When I was an undergrad, I wanted to learn how to think like a mathematician. So I read papers, I read books by mathematicians, trying to learn how to think and get inside the mind of, when you're doing high-level math, what makes you tick? So I said, what books would you read to recommend thinking like a biologist? And she seemed pleased by the question. She said, In Search of Memory by Eric Kandel. And Eric Kandel is a Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist. And the book talked about, which I read over winter break, it talked about the experiments that led to the understanding of how how neurons fire, and how neurotransmitters are sent, and experiments with all these different wild animals that we could then extrapolate to see exactly how the human brain works. And it was fascinating to me. I think her perspective sharing that with me then, and providing something for me to develop a love of biology outside of her coursework was really foundational in my ability to tackle the next semester's coursework, and also deeply understand and enjoy the next semester's coursework. I came back from break and she was surprised and very pleased that I'd read the book she recommended. But it was probably one of the best, most fun things I did over my winter break, because I think it allowed me to find a love of biology that I hadn't been able to before. And I think that that's really a hallmark of the individual mentorship at Bryn Mawr, is how the professors really, they love what they're teaching. They love teaching you, and they want to share their love of learning and passion and impart that to you.